Hey, thanks for watching What the Flick, everyone. Ben, Michelle, and Alonso, episode 6, season 1 of the billions, or as we like to call it here, illions. The deal. So we were talking just before we started rolling speeches. There was a
Yeah, well, we've complained in the past about how sometimes this show like has these monologues that are just, they don't feel organic to a conversation that somebody would have. I liked the one that the lawyer had with the
two lawyers.
Well,
in the
yeah,
bathroom?
Giamatti's second in command. The bathroom conversation about why these people are so loyal to Axe, as versus like the political guy who's
Loyal until the next election.
Exactly, whose affiliations will wax and wane. So that to me felt like, okay, I buy that these guys would have this conversation and that this guy would go off on a monologue, and it felt like a real conversation.
Yeah,
Totally.
But you had a problem with some other.
Oh, the only one that drug on a little long and got a little epic for me was the one that Damien was giving about
At the beginning?
the war speech.
Right.
The big war speech. We're going to war. And I get it, and I agree with you when you said that his conversation with Maggie made it better.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a little. Yeah, it seemed a little much, But he sometimes, as an actor, he is so strong, and his face is so strong, and his eyes are like it's almost too much. They're like it's too much, Damian Lewis. Like,
Well, I thought it was smart that they intercut that speech
It was,
a lot.
it
So
was.
There was parallel editing going on, and I did believe that in that moment he would give this sort of St. Crispin's Day.
right. But I
speech to
didn't
the
like it
troops.
when I was hearing it. I thought it was too much. But then at least we got acknowledgement from the character who we identify with most that she also thought it was too much. So that always, I thought, is an effective storytelling method. That like, oh look, we have an ally, and then it explained away that it might have been too much.
Yeah, and even his response when she comes in, when he's like, "We're effed," you
Right,
know what I
right.
mean? Like that instantly changed my whole perspective on the speech.
Right.
And I'm so loving Wags as the yes and on this show.
Right.
Like it just he'll get like 4 lines in the scene, but they're just all that were so revealing about him and his relationship to Axe and how he feels about stuff. And that actor's really bringing it.
What did you think about how they started the episode?
How did they start the
Oh,
episode?
the whole let's get naked in the tub.
Oh, naked in the tub, and then 3 weeks back. Yeah. So instantly I thought, okay, they're not having an affair. And I thought,
Yeah.
okay, it's a wire. It's got to be to make sure it's
Exactly.
she's not. By the way, that guy's David Costabile.
Yes.
Is,
yes.
And he and I are both Tufts 89.
Huh?
Who knew? Who knew? He's certainly not him. Yeah, and it turns out Brian Koppelman, who the EP of the show, also Tufts, like 88. So
No kidding.
these were guys I was not familiar with. Well, at Tufts, it's a shame.
Kim Dickens from Fear the Walking Dead,
right,
as we've
Vanderbilt.
discussed on this program, my classmate.
So I thought, there were a lot of scenes in this though that I really liked. I liked sort of the barrage of people telling Damian Lewis in different settings to take a deal, like how difficult it is to convince someone of that sort of power and strength to, this is a time when you have to take a knee. First his lawyer, then Maggie Sif, to some extent Wags, maybe. Yeah, Wags also saying, oh, this would be great. That was a great line of his. We can make a family from it. We could cut down the staff. I hate half these people.
And also this is the episode where people keep telling Paul Giamatti, like, you really need to recuse yourself. And his excuses get less convincing the more of them that he makes.
Right, I took an oath.
Definitely.
I'm like, everybody who recuses themselves took an oath.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not a... your wife is a high-ranking officer at the firm. This one is or she's got to quit.
Yeah.
This is an untenable situation. That's why their fight is believable, because it can't exist like that. They can't get around this.
Well, exactly. And just this notion that, like, that if he doesn't do it, that all these other departments aren't going to pursue it because they haven't until now. It's like, no, you've got the ball rolling. Like, it's a thing that's happening now.
Right.
You got to walk away from this.
I feel like it's just because it's the most high-profile case, right? I mean, that's what he wanted.
He doesn't want to, because you want to be on the stage, like his dad said. Oh, his dad is rough.
Oh.
Ugh.
God,
But I mean, his
yeah.
dad said he wants to be on that stage because the next step for him would be at the bare minimum, Attorney General of New York, but you can maybe jump right up if you're
Governor.
You can maybe be governor of New York, certainly lieutenant governor. And once you're governor of New York, you can be president. That's just a thing. You know, when you're governor of New York, you're one of 25 people who can be president.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously Eliot Spitzer, you know, who there are some parallels here. You know, Eliot Spitzer could certainly have been president. Eliot Spitzer probably could have been Barack Obama. So anyway, but I loved you know, I liked their Scotch conversation, the chocolate Scotch conversation, or the chocolate whiskey, not Scotch. It's because it was from Thailand or
Taiwan.
Thailand, yeah, Thailand.
The whole thing with the skybox.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, David Axelrod, Bobby Axelrod, can I get a selfie?
My Instagram will blow up.
Yeah. And their reaction to that, like Wags, and they were like, "Oh, we are." And then, a realization from.
Oh, and the kids getting disinvited from the birthday party.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like
A lot of good, lot of subtlety here that I thought was good. And then I thought my friend delivered well on his dollar bill, delivered well on his scene there, both of them.
Yeah, he did. I kind of wish they hadn't made him say Kaiser Sosa.
Yeah.
Kind of wish that
a
hadn't
little on
been
the
in
nose.
script.
Yeah, a little.
But I just emailed her.
Yeah, I just be like, yeah.
Just done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a power play.
How do you have the time for two families? Yeah, how do you coach two traveling all-star baseball teams? Well, Timmy's in the spring and Connor's in the fall. Try to be fair. And you see it, try to be fair. Like this is a regimented guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
He had bought the same minivan for each family, you know, and then each kid traveling baseball team and so forth.
Living two American
And just
dreams.
no blow. Yeah, I sent her an email. She'll be all right. We make a lot of money. She'll forgive me.
I thought for Maggie, this was such an impressive episode.
It was.
Too.
Yeah.
Just watching, I mean, it's almost Olympic, like the way she's getting both of these men to
Totally.
come around to her view. I mean,
And she did
ultimately,
it.
you could say she's the person, who got them into that room. And then that final scene in that room where it all falls apart. Oh my God, I love that scene.
So do we
And
think
if she'd been there, it probably would have worked.
It
probably would work because he wouldn't have had the courage to do that in front of her because, of course, he lied about it. He said that Axelrod blew up and stormed out of the room and ripped out the paper, which is true, but you punched him in the face first. You know,
He was goaded.
Right, you goaded him. Well, you changed the deal at the last second. You changed the deal in a monumentally relevant way.
And he even went along with that, and it became that thing where all of a sudden, because he said yes.
No,
even
but he didn't
to
say
pulling out. And
yes, everything except can't even have a family firm, can't even run your own money.
Yeah.
That was his last thing. Was you're banned forever. That was not part
The
of
blind
deal.
trust
But
thing.
that was after that kind of, guys like you.
Right. They
know,
both messed with each other. They both peed on each other.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was preening going
Right,
on.
right. And of course, and Bobby and Wags won it. Like Giamatti and his guy were clever and they were high, but then they got beat on it because those guys are cleverer. I don't know. I thought it was good. And you knew it was going to disintegrate because if he takes the deal,
There's no show.
six episodes of season 1 and all of season 2. Like, what are we gonna? Like, how is this deal gonna fall apart? Is it gonna fall apart right here?
Yeah, I was really thinking to myself, like, I don't think I can watch the rest of the season of them going through files in these people's like offices.
And then we get the subtle little competing for. I think the guy's name is Toby something. The Toby Leonard Moore is Giamatti's number 1. Brian and his relationship with both Condola Rashad and the woman from the Americans.
Oh, right,
So
with the FBI.
she throws that little
the
one-line of
Japanese thing,
Japanese in
yeah.
there, and he's very Japanese. She's like, well, I don't speak Japanese. I can't compete with this. Yeah. So we're headed for that relationship, which will be nice. I love an inter-office romance on television. Those are always full of intrigue and
Sex on the coffee machine.
Exactly, sex on the coffee machine. But anyway, so go ahead.
Oh, and does how they end it basically say that he has corrupted himself? I mean, Giamatti's character, when he says keep telling me
Sure.
what's going on. Is that automatically Because I don't understand that portion of the law specifically. Is him getting that information illegal at the point that he's recused himself, or just
he's
frowned
he's
upon,
not
or
recused anymore if he's that in on it. But so that's why it's all like no witnesses, no paper trail, no emails, nothing.
But
That
you
felt
could,
pretty
as Rob Morrow, the Assistant Attorney General of the United States, said, like, it doesn't really matter whether he's being extra tough. They can. What his point was, the opposing counsel and the press will make arguments that he's either being extra tough or not tough enough, depending on whatever suits them, because his wife is there. So he recuses himself from the case. They'll still make the arguments because he still runs the office, and nobody thinks that they're not at lunch at the bare minimum. I mean, he's making it semi-official by saying we're going to meet secretly. But I mean, they would at some point he's going to be like, so listen, I'm reading the story. How's it going with the Axelrod case? You know, I mean, it's his top deputy, and his office is prosecuting it. It probably would, realistically, it would probably go to the Eastern District. It would probably go to a different office.
And you know, I'm sure as the show unfolds, there will be drama in the fact that he'll be using information that he knows from the wife to, you know, toss that he's not supposed to be sharing, that he'll be sharing it, you know.
If she suddenly started sharing with him just because he recused himself, though, I feel like she would not be thinking.
No, she's too smart for that. But I'm sure he'll pick up on things, or he'll know that she's at a certain place at a certain time. But there's something that his viewing point will allow him to know that he wouldn't otherwise.
And so So Giamatti just lied to her, right, by eliminating his role. He changed the deal at the last second. That's what caused Bobby to storm out. He took away the only win there was, which was, hey, I get to keep going, and in 8 months or 8 weeks, whatever it is, I'll make back my $2 billion, right?
Yeah.
So he got enough of a win to keep going, and he took that away. You're banned for life. That's a loss. They're never getting invited to the parties if you're banned from trading for life. So, but Bobby has his meeting with that dark private investigator or the dark lawyer, and they're going to spread rumors of her affair.
That's
with
what I was about.
Someone. I mean, so
do you
she's
think
about
they
to
were-
get, so something's going to happen.
I assumed they were photographing them
Could be.
when they went in to the water. I was like, if that was their strategy, if it was to prove the affair.
Have we seen the last, we're not going to get a still from that shot? No, we may well.
Right, but then the question is like, again, it's sort of like trying to hold that over a dollar bill, and he just tells the wife everything. She will probably very easily be able to convince Giamatti that no, it's not what it looks like.
And
so I wanted to make sure I wasn't wearing a wire.
Exactly, and then if they try and go public with it, it's sort of like, well, if there's no shocked husband, there's really not, you know. I mean, what, Malin Ackerman's going to blow a gasket? I don't think so.
No, but they could sully her rep. They want to muddy the waters of the prosecution, and
I suppose so,
and that can be done by suggesting some scandal. My hunch is it won't be with Bobby, but it'll be with, you know, it'll be with something else. But she can't work there. That is untenable. That is you got to quit. I'm sorry, you got to quit. Your husband's the U.S. attorney. You got to quit.
Yeah, how they didn't have this conversation years earlier, you have to wonder.
That one, I mean, I got it for TV purposes, but I think she's got to go.
And she must know so much about the dirty deals compared to everyone, even from the conversations you've heard. Like,
even from privileged
she's the
conversations
worst.
with
Right,
clients.
but she's got you know, doctor-patient
privilege. That not just the oath of I have fidelity to the firm, but this legitimate. I can't talk about what was said in the session. Yeah.
But that seems like that's the. I mean, if you were in a job where you didn't know anything about those things, it feels easier not to walk away. But it's like she knows everything.
Yeah,
she kind of,
but that said, this is we can make this television allowed.
We'll just go with it.
Yeah, so shut up. But I look, obviously I want, because the heat, I guess, continues on dollar bills, so that excites me because I want
more screen time.
More screen time for Kelly O'Coin, for Pastor Tim. From the
Yes.
Okay, great stuff. Thanks, guys. We will continue in the weeks ahead. More billions. Thanks.